Amazing, spectacular tea people today. You can see here I've got this big old box. This big old box has only a couple kilograms of tea. There is not very much tea in this big old box. There is tea in this big old box. And this box is very, very heavy. But the funny thing about this box, I think in here there is, I think about 2.5. No, not half. So less than 2 kilograms of tea in this box. There's less than 2 kilograms of tea in this box. But with this box, you get straight from the Raceway Township Farmers Association, you have competition tea in the box. So today, how many of these do I have again? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 10 of them. I'm going to open up one of them. And 9 of them will be for sale, I guess, on Sunday. I'll probably, on Saturday, I'll release them to the Discord people. I'll see if Discord people want them. And yes, Mr. Black Tea Connoisseur, I am. I am Mr. Black Tea Connoisseur. Absolutely, I am. And that box is heavy. So no. So that's, 1.5 kilograms of tea in that box. That's it. That's it. 1.5 kilograms of tea in that box. And that is it. And so this, I went to go see my buddy finally and get some of the tea. This one is, that's this. Okay, that's the tea. And I got some of these and actually got some normal honey fragrance black tea. So that'll be released on Sunday. On Sunday, what's going on? Honey fragrance black tea, I guess I'll do some of these boxes. They're left over from the Discord. There should be a couple left over. There is Rose Red Oolong and the Magnolia Orchid. I think there's just those 4 teas. But anyways, those teas will be released this Sunday. As you can see behind me, it has been a very, very, very cold spring, so the green tea is not quite ready yet. It'll be ready eventually. But it's not ready quite yet. Now, if you are one of those people, right? So here we got the extra garbage. If you are one of those people that would want one of these boxes, remember, this is extremely important. There are 2 stickers. There's a sticker here and there's a sticker here. Now to open the box, you have to break the stickers. This sticker is actually pretty easy to break. You can see right here, I'm going to break the sticker. That's pretty easy. It's got the teeth on it. And so that's pretty easy to break. Then this one here is usually harder to break. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty hard to break. So you use your fingernail, go like that, break it. There you go. That guarantees that it is, it's guaranteeing that it turns into, that it's the real deal. I'm turning into a black tea connoisseur as well. Being on a black tea binge recently. Snow Mist still one of the best for me. Snow Mist is Snow Mist. And that's about 2 months away. No, middle of, usually it'll be on the site sort of start of March. I'm hoping that this spring is a good one. I hope it doesn't get too cold. I'm hoping this spring is a good one. Now, you can see here, this is it. The same as boxes last year. You open it up and you get all of this stuff, right? So you get this here. It's telling you about, well, it's all in Chinese, but it tells you about this. Then you got these. And you get this. Again, remember that big box, 1.5 kilograms of tea. And inside each one of these boxes, you get 2 of these, right? And then sort of looks like that. And this year, because last year, or whichever year I did this, I think it was last year, the problem was this sticker just broke too easily. But this year they did it a little bit better. Yes, they did a little bit better. Now you can see this came merit awards. So this is like, you have the first place. Well, actually, the way they do it, because they just have to give everybody like awards. The way they do it is there is like the best in class. Then there is first place, which has like, which is like, I think, 1 tea. Then there's second place. It's got like 2 teas. Then there's third place. It's got like 3 teas. And then there's merit award, or the 4th place, which has got like 4 teas or something like that. And so this is one of the merit award ones. When we drink this and we talk about the tasting notes, I'll talk about why that is, what's going on, and all that type of stuff, competition, politics, and all that type of stuff. But anyways, this won the Merit Award, as you can see. And so let's see how hard it is to open. Let's see. It's harder than last year, but it's not that easy to open. And then here, they've got everybody's names, and then you open it up, and then you get the tea right here. Now this is 75 grams of tea, so we went through all of that for 75 grams of tea, and then you can see this is the packaging. And I'm not a packaging guy. Anybody who's ever bought my tea knows I am not a packaging guy. But what are you going to do? Oh, so you can tell this is some good stuff. It's got the golden threads, or the golden. The English translation is better as golden threads, but the Chinese translation is like golden fur. I believe that it's not golden feathers. Anyways, you can see here this is the tea, and it's the competition style tea. It's really nice. Now, I actually sampled this tea before it was put in the competition, and I'm not gonna actually, whatever. It's okay. I should have warmed up everything to get this going, but that's okay. Oh yeah, you put the hot water on it, you get it right away. I sampled this tea before it was put into the competition, and I know this is a really, really good tea. The problem is, of course, there's politics, and there's also the flavor that the judges want when it comes to these competitions. Now, what is this competition? This competition is in Ruishui, in the Wuhe area, and Ruishui is famous for its honey fragrance black tea. And what is honey fragrance black tea? It is like, oh yeah, it just smells so good. It's just so, it's good. It's good. Aren't there some pink competition boxes at some point? Yes, that was the ones before. But now they were pink, and well, no, this isn't one, but this one looks like it. So it kind of looks like it. It was smaller, but yeah, it was pink before. But now the modern ones, as you can see, are the paper ones, and they've got this like watch what happens when you the design of this. Check this out when you put it in, right? Put it on. It's like one of those really expensive fridges, like you take it off and then, slides back on. Like, well, anyways, you know what I mean. They did a better version of it. Expensive fridges. What was it? Oh no! It's expensive washing machines. If it's a front loader, right? It's expensive washing machines that do that. Probably expensive fridges too. But what's happened now is that they've sort of updated it. You can see the boxes; they're really quite nice. But the same old guys still run the competition. And so my buddy is part of the younger generation. And what he does is a non-roasted, just a high quality, bug bitten, super honey, super floral, just really nice honey fragrance black tea. It lives up to the name. But the guys who are winning now, they roast their honey fragrance black teas. Good. And this is fun for me to drink this because I very, very, very rarely drink honey fragrance black teas because they're harder and harder to get because there's less and less people making like really high quality stuff because the older generation is just sort of not doing it anymore. And so just my buddy who does it, and he's getting pushback from the older generation because he does it organically, and on and on and on. I could go and talk and blah, blah, blah. But the point is, I don't get to drink teas like this very much. But when I first started 5 or 6 years ago, I guess 6 or 7 years ago now, this was the tea that I was first into. And I could definitely... If there's a type of tea that I'm an expert in, I could definitely say I'm an expert in honey fragrance black tea from the Raceway area because it's my home base. And back when I was doing tea tours, I'd be out there like 2, 3 times a month, all year round for like years and years, just to see and I saw the processing and helped making the teas and all that type of stuff. And so I did that for a while. And so I know this type of tea really, really, really well. And I guess this tea, it's valid that it wouldn't be a first place tea. It's got everything that you need. With a first place tea, there's going to be a little bit more of a floral blast, but it's got lots of honey and beautiful stuff going through it. And I guess the aftertaste, you want it to linger a little bit more. But it deserves higher than the Merit Award. It really does. It's a beautiful tea. And like I said, I tried it before it went into the competition, and I reserved it for everybody. And now we have, well, I guess, 9 boxes. I'll keep this one for myself. But there's 9 boxes. So if you want one of those, I guess, at the end of this live stream, try and get in touch with me, like reserve one first, I guess. We can do that. But it'll go into the sort of the Discord. And if there's any left over, it will go into, I'll be releasing it on Sunday. How does roasting, what does the roasting do to the honey fragrance black? Great question. What the roasting does is it sharpens up the florals and drenches it in caramel. So the florals come out as more rosy, like sharp rose. And then the whole thing sort of gets caramelized. But then with it, you also get like a dark, like the caramel is usually like black caramel. It's not golden caramel. And so I don't particularly like it. It brings in that sweet sour, like the sourness of a really heavily roasted caramel, if that makes sense. And so it's a little bit sweeter, a little bit harsher. All the flavors are sharper all over the place. Boy, my bench is a little creaky today. And so I can definitely understand where if you like that flavor of tea, that's what is going to be what you really go for. But for me, I think this is a much better expression of what it means to have honey fragrance black tea. That one tends to take away the bug bites a little bit. I assume it's light electric roast, mid electric roast. How do you think they age? I noticed many are looser rolled, not too tightly. I would say up to 5 years. In about 4.5 years, this would be gorgeous. Like really, really, really gorgeous. 10 years, you're pushing it. 15, 20, 30 years, nah. I don't think it'd do it. I don't think it would be. All right, let's put it this way: between 10 and I've sampled these teas between 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. I even have a 1980. So I have a 45-year-old honey fragrance black. And so I've sampled these teas all through the years. And basically from 1 to 5, it's just better. 5 to 10, still better, but not quite as much as 1 to 5. 10 to 20, kind of bad, right? Not so good. They get a little bit sour. But if you put like a slight roast, like just a drying out roast somewhere in that time frame, then over 20 years, they get really, really, really good. But these are not teas that are meant to be aged, right? These are not teas that are meant to be aged. They're teas that are meant to be had in the first 5 to 10 years. I mean, like from when they're made, 5 to 10 years. You're not supposed to age these teas. They're not meant to be aged. Because I've also had a bunch of these teas that were aged and they just lost everything. They lost everything, which is, kind of disappointing. They just became bad. But they were also teas that weren't all that good to begin with. But judging is subjective. Sharper and more intense means good for smoking farmers. Well, that's basically it, the older generation, right? Like my buddy up on Pear Mountain who does his Pear Mountain Black that's charcoal roasted. I mean, he smokes, right? He's smoking less and less, right? I hope he gives it up, but that's for him. That's for him for sure. Judging is subjective anyways. Competition doesn't mean it's the best tea of its category. Well, best tea of its category. What does that mean, right? That's not to go postmodern. But once you get into, I am what I'm a constructionist. I do not like the postmodern thought at all. I'm a constructionist. But once you get to the top 1%, yeah, you can argue even the top 5%. I think that is objective, right? The best tea, the top 5% is objectively the top 5%. Anywhere in there, whatever you think is the best is whatever you think is the best. But below the top 5%, that's different, right? That's different. This tea right here, it's in the top 5% just by the skin of its teeth, right? This should not win first place. This is not a beyond belief really, really good tea, but it should be in the top 5%. It should be in the top 5%. It's a great example of what a really high quality honey fragrance black tea should taste like. It's right there. It's right there. Thanks for the answer. I find that they are very fragrant forward. Hence the name. Yes, hence the name. Honey fragrance black. But remember that the honey is actually not the tea. Well, I mean, it is the tea, but it's something that's on top of the tea. So as long as you don't roast it too hard, and as long as the tea is high quality enough to be aged, the fragrant part might leave it, but the honey part stays, right? Because it's not in the tea leaf; it's on the outside. It's like it's literally like honey being poured on it. Anyways, it's fascinating stuff. I do like the pear black. Smoking farmer tea also does well with food. Absolutely. Absolutely, it does well with food. What's your best black tea right now? Probably this. Honey, the Chile Black is sold out. It's gone until next year. Last year it sold out, I think, in the summertime. And this year I bought like twice as much as last year, and it sold out twice as fast, 3 times as fast. Anyways, this year was a really, really good one. I'm hoping next year will be just as good. But the best black tea, well, I'm going to try and get some Sancha black tea this month. So if the Sancha black tea comes in, that'll be good. The Pear Mountain Black it's a love it or leave it tea, right? If you want your black tea to taste like a charcoal, a piece of charcoal dipped in really bright red fruit brandy, if that's what you want it to taste like, then you're all good for that. But trying to think what other black teas. I mean, the red oolongs are all good, right? I mean, I know they're not exactly the same, but they're good. No complaints there. The honey black oolong, the Louis red. It's not the best, but it's okay this year. It's fine. The wintertime pick. I'm going to release the rose red this year. The rose red oolong is amazing. It's really, 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 really good. So if you're not violently against sort of rose, then that's a good one too. But it's a tough one. Chile Black was the best black I ever had for a month or so. Then Snow Mist blew it out of the water. Well, Snow Mist, if you age it for a couple of years. What's your best black right now? Still Snow Mist. Oh, you mean like overall that I would ever have? Anyways, I went through all the things that are on the site right now. I would say, again, I'm a constructionist, so I don't want to argue whether the bad black tea is as good as the bad black tea is as good as the best black tea because they both worked hard. No. The best black tea is the best. But if you're going to argue which is the best between Snow Mist or Chile Black, that's not an argument I'm getting to get into. It'd be like, whatever. They're both amazing, right? And that's how you sort of get through that. It's rather late in Canada now. I'll watch the rest of your video tomorrow. Have a nice tea session. Well, I hope you are. If you, yeah, you're in Canada now. So spring comes eventually. It does. Spring will come eventually. And when spring comes in Canada, it's beautiful for 2 weeks. Really beautiful. Right in between when all the dog poop thaws out and when it gets so rainy that the mud makes it so that everything's covered in mud. Those 2 weeks, amazing. When the daffodils come up right after the dog poop's gone, amazing. I'm still going to stay here though. I'm still gonna stay there. You should hoard a good snow mist year and then age it. Sell it to us after a decade. Well, I've got a couple. I've got snow mist white floating around there. I got a little bit of it, and yes, I should do that. I should do that, but my buddy up there actually does that himself, and so he's got a better spot to age it. And like taking a bunch of snow mist teas and then aging them is high risk, high reward. So he's doing it. I'll give him the reward, and I'll still be able to sell it for my reward, whatever. But yeah, definitely I'll be doing that because it really is. You age that tea, it's just it's absolutely amazing stuff. The snow mist stuff is absolutely amazing stuff. Here you can see the goldenish, brownish. I don't even know what to call that color. It's super bright. And what's fun about it is on the inside, it's quite cloudy. Like it's hard to see through because of all the trizomes. It starts with a T, doesn't it? The all the tea dust that's on the buds of the tea leaves, because this is very buddy, right? So when you're picking this tea, the tea is this, right? So when you're picking this tea, the tea is this. I'll put it on the white background so you guys can all see it. But that's the pick, right? So that's the pick. And it's got a lot of, trichomes. Trichomes. I don't speak all that much English anymore. And so I don't actually know how to say that word. Anyways, man, I hope your leg is doing well. Yes, the trichomes. Anyways. Oh, it's just so good. And that's the thing with all of these teas, right? This tea is not going to give this tea, like the aged teas are going to give you like a body feel and going to get you tea drunk or make you contemplative or going to make you blah, 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 blah. This tea will give you a little bit of energy. It'll give you a little bit of an up because it's actually got a lot of caffeine in it. It's got a lot of caffeine. But it's not going to really be giving you a deep body feel. It's meant to be enjoyed for its flavor, sort of its upfront flavor, as we were mentioning earlier. Trichomes. There we go. Trichomes. Yes. Well, I'm glad to hear it's still there. And so trichomes. That's right. That rings a bell. That rings a bell. I'm sure I've heard somebody else say it at some point. Oh, bird planted black. So I got some bird planted black as well. So I'll add that in on Sunday. So there'll be the bird planted black as well. Trichomes. But this is loaded with it. And it's actually got, every once in a while. So when I get questions about caffeine, there's two different kinds of questions. And most of the questions are, which are the ones that have the most caffeine in the context of that? That's the ones they don't want. Or how do I reduce my caffeine? But every once in a while, I'll get one of those chads that'll show up and be like, which of your teas, like most people say, which of the has the least amount of caffeine in it? And then every once in a while, there'll be a guy who comes out and he's like, which one has the most? Which one of your teas has the most amount of caffeine? And that one, those questions, it's about 3-1 for least amount of caffeine versus most amount of caffeine. But these teas right here, these have the most amount of caffeine. And so I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it and it's a clean caffeine. It's not like a jittery one that you would get from the chemicals or things like that. But it's there. This is a lot of caffeine, right? This is a lot of caffeine. This is and it's different than the coffee caffeine, right? Like it's less spiky, it's more rounded. But the guys who do this, the guys, the men and women that ask me that question, they say, which one has the most caffeine? This one. Bird Planted Red was delicious. Yeah, well, it's an interesting one, right? And the Bird Planted is special stuff. Yeah, it is, and it's one of those ones where you really have to drink it. Like if you let it steep too long, it gets a little bit sour, and you really have to be in it. Like you got to be feeling it, and you got to be in it when you brew that tea. And you can tell it's special. You can tell it's not a normal tea. And I'll probably put it in the. Well, actually, I know I will. I'll put it in the backroom tea section. Which again, the password to get into the backroom teas is welcome. And those are the teas that are expensive, and they're for people who really enjoy that style of tea, right? So like the Bird Planted, we're talking about what's the best black teas. I think that, well, the Bird Planted tea is certainly in the top 5%. And it's just a really interesting tea. It'll be the favorite of some. Some people will be like, wow, that's really interesting, but not particularly enjoy it. But it's there. It's a really good black tea. It's really special. It's, the equivalent of an old growth sort of Yunnan black. But it's from Shanlin Shi, and it's from the forests surrounding the tea gardens. Do you think that the Daye Oolong variety makes the best honey fragrance black? Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I have no, and I don't think anybody would argue with me either. Not people that know this style of tea. There's a certain floralness that you can't get with the Jinchuans or the Qinxins or anything else. Only the Daye Oolong comes out with that. And no one's planting it anymore, unfortunately, which is too bad. But yes. Yes. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but when did you try the leaf litter last? When I bought it. Chances are there will never be that tea again. I'm sorry. The guy who makes that tea is the internet is forever. Let's just say we don't get along too well. And so I don't think he'll ever make it again. That was a one-off, and I apologize, but I don't think it'll ever come back. I do not think it will ever come back. Who knows, though? I mean, there's always a chance sometime in the future. But yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy. I'm a little new to tea. I just got your 6-month subscription. Well, thank you very much. And that 6-month subscription will give you a face first dive into Taiwanese tea through the seasons, right? So it'll give you in general, it'll give you a really good place to start for where you want to figure out where your tastes lie, and then you can go from there and then move out into those areas. But I will tell you, just to warn you, the next 6 months is going to be pretty heavy in the greenish oolongs. The next 6 months will be pretty heavy in greenish oolongs. The darker teas usually come out in the summertime, in the late summer. But hopefully there'll be some good sort of bug bitten stuff in for the July box. Most caffeine is probably the Asamakas. I'd have to look at the scientific tests for that. I think the taste of the Asamakas are stronger. They certainly do something to you, but I don't know whether it's just the mix of the chemicals that are actually in the Asamaka. I don't know whether they actually have more caffeine per weight, because oftentimes too the Assamacas will get bigger leaves and further down the plant. Anyways, it's fascinating. I would actually like to know. I don't know if anybody's ever done that. But is the mayor out of jail to make his Alishan oolongs this year? I do not know if he actually went to jail, but I will be going to see him this year. Like 80 to 90%. Unless there's another huge earthquake or invasion or whatever happens to, the East Asian historical timeline that we're in. Because I miss it. I miss going around there, seeing those places. I want to go back. I don't think he went to jail, but he might have. But definitely, I'm going to be going to see him and get some of his tea this year for sure. Right, that'll be sort of mid to late April, and then I'll roast it up myself. And I would actually really like to roast it up myself. I have a lot of fun doing it. I have so much fun roasting it up. And yes, yeah, got to do it. So just to recap on this, you can see here these bad boys, 2 stickers. Then another sticker on the inside. You're paying for stickers if you get one of these boxes. And then you can stick it up on the shelf like this, right? And so if you're interested in getting one of these, there are 9 of them. And this year, I think it'd be the same as last year, like $99 shipping included to get the box out. And you're mostly paying for the box. That's what you're mostly paying for. But if you want one, then let me know. What about the Taiwanese Sheng? Same with the leaf litter. The Taiwanese Shengs are the same with the leaf litter. Same guy. And who knows, maybe someday. But I have 7 grams left, and I don't want to drink it. I'd be sad if that's the last Taiwanese Sheng I would ever have in my life. Well, that's another project, and we'll see. But I should go down there and just try and find some people to do the Taiwanese Sheng and get on it. The problem is that there's a lot of people down there that do it that don't do a particularly good Taiwanese Sheng, but because it's in a cake and they I don't know how to say this, so I won't. They use their status in not a particularly nice way. So they charge an extra lot of money for it, even though it's not worth it. And so I got to go down there and find somebody who just does a good job, right? I just got to go down there and find somebody who does a good job. And hopefully I can. But that's a project in the next little while, for sure. I think a Montreal company, Camellia sinensis. Yes, it is. It's did a caffeine study amongst different types of teas. Quite a few looked at. Yes, I think they make quite a lot of money. I haven't really looked into that tea company too much, but they seem to make quite a lot of money. And I think they have done some studies like that, but I should probably look into it. That's a good base to start. You should try roasting with vanilla beans if you have any left. It might meld nicely with the caramel profile. Absolutely, it would. It would, absolutely. The problem is that, and I think this is why not a lot of people do it, if I use a machine to roast with the vanilla beans, I will have to roast with the vanilla beans forever on that machine. It's a sticky flavor. Vanilla is a sticky flavor. That reminds me, I got to get some more vanilla beans. Why not? vanilla. I'll get some more vanilla beans because they've been sold out for a while, and I just keep forgetting. But I should get some more vanilla beans. I'll get another couple kilograms. But yeah, so that is the problem with the vanilla beans. If I roast the vanilla beans in that machine, that's it. Vanilla beans forever. They can't operate. Yeah, they can't operate in Montreal without make a lot of money. Well, that's it, right? The thing is, if you're a tea company and you've survived with a brick and mortar business, you take really, really cheap tea and you do good marketing to sell it for a lot of money. So that means you make a lot of money. And that's on a value judgment, right? You can take clean, ethically produced, decent tea and market it and sell it for a lot of money. Okay, that's great. But you can't do that with Taiwanese tea. I've put the wholesale program on hold. And the reason I put the wholesale program on hold is because people want good prices for Taiwanese tea. No, I should have put it that way. They want to be able to sell Taiwanese tea in the North American market. But the problem is I can't really discount my retail prices anymore. And, if you're buying like 10, 15, 20 kilograms, okay, you can probably get it for a cheaper price. But the problem is that Taiwanese tea is really, 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 really expensive. Like if I'm buying tea for $200 a kilogram, how is anybody in North America supposed to make money off of that? Right? You cannot make money off of that. It's impossible. Unless you are selling little bit amount, like 5-10 grams for huge amounts of money. And it's very, very different than if you say source tea from maybe a place in India or a place in Africa where they're actually treating their workers well and doing it in a good way, which I don't even know if that exists. Anyways, the point is, if you are a North American company and making a lot of money, to do it in a way that is ethical, I think is quite hard. And but it's possible. And I don't know enough about Camellia sinensis. I certainly hope they're not using slave labor, like the Kenyan slave labor or the sort of the Indian slave labor stuff. I hope they're not using those teas. But like I said, it's really, really, really tough to do it in a good way. Oh, I never bought your hybrid for Formosa Sheng. Do you still have access to that? I do. Last year was not good. So it wasn't very good, so I didn't buy it. But I'm hoping this year it's better. So I do have access to the hybrid Sheng, and I'm hoping this year I'm going to buy that for sure. They do sell some good stuff as well. I'm sure they do, right? I'm sure they do. And again, no value judgment. Camellia sinensis in Canada and in general, they're very famous. I think in some of the things that the guy goes and does talks and things. I listened to a couple of his talks. I don't think I'd get along with him very well. Again, no value judgment, right? I don't think our personalities would match. And but it's just tough. It's really, really, really tough, right? It's really, really tough to do it because the costs of Taiwanese tea are very, very high, and I'd say they're higher than anywhere else in the world, pound for pound, right? Because you can still get really cheap Japanese teas, really cheap Chinese teas, really cheap, obviously very cheap Indian teas and Malaysian teas and things. You can get them very, 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 very cheap. But finding ethical cheap teas is tough, but possible, absolutely possible. Vanilla bean is expensive too. You need to be really rich. Not in Taiwan. Vanilla beans in Taiwan are actually pretty cheap, from what I've heard. Like good bang for your buck for vanilla beans in Taiwan. Absolutely. But let's throw out a call for last questions. So last questions about anything that we've covered today. Again, this will be for sale, right? Comes wrapped in plastic. It's got 2 stickers on it, so you know it's authentic. You open it up. There's another sticker, right? So you know it's like triple authentic. And this particular tea is a great example of a really, really high quality honey fragrance black tea. But right now they're looking for sort of roasted honey fragrance black teas, and this is not roasted, so it's just sort of, it got like honorable mention, the equivalent of honorable mention, which is, of course, the Merit Award. And so this will be for sale, and you'll be able to get them. I've got 9 left. 9 of them, and yeah, I'll throw them out in the Discord section, and then yeah, we'll see who wants them. This weekend, there will be the Bird Planted Red, the Magnolia Orchid, the Rose Red Oolong from Shanlin Shi, just a normal honey fragrance black tea, and then this. So I guess there's 5 teas to be released this weekend. And the normal honey fragrance black tea is so funny. I mean, I go see my buddy, and it's just, he's just so funny. I mean, you know, we're drinking all the teas, we're talking about, I'm like, oh, this one, I want to buy this one. He's like, oh, great, okay, I'll go get it. You know, I'm like, how much do you have? I'll buy it all. You know, and so he goes and he tries to find it, and he comes back with this bag about this big. There's like less than 2 kilograms of the tea. He's like, this is all I've got. I'm like, dude, you know, like I want to buy more of your tea. I want to buy more of this. He's like, oh, that's all I got, you know, and so I bought all of his tea. So we got honey fragrance black tea, less than 2 kilograms of it. It's a rare addition to the site, because anyways, I wish I could buy more of his tea, but it's always that same story. I buy from a guy in the US who sells bomb teas. He says he doesn't earn much, only break even. He says he only sells tea as a passion project, just want to spread the culture in the US. And that's like, let's face it, smaller companies in the US, that's like 99% of them. Not a lot of people make money from selling high quality tea in the US unless, well, they usually always have something else on the side. And because it's just, you know, it's so hard to compete in a market where people don't know. And it's always the same thing, right? Like we found this. I'm so happy. Oh, so in our house, decent cheese in the sense of cheese that you can tell what it is, not yellow or white. In our house, we call it rich people cheese because it's so expensive in Taiwan. We finally found a place in Taiwan, and we've been buying kilograms and kilograms of cheese to send to our house. In fact, I'm going to go like cut up, like, you know, like just eat like 200 grams of cheese. Like, oh, yum, yum, yum. Like I can't wait for my lunch. And, but I always use this example of selling stinky cheese in Taiwan because people don't know, right? They don't know the difference between an expensive cheese or a cheap cheese, or, you know, how much does the stink cost for the cheese? Like they just don't know. And it's not because it's their fault. It's because this market doesn't have it. It's the same with tea in North America. And so tea in North America is kind of, it's tough, right? Tea in North America it's a really tough market to get in because to get the good stuff, you got to pay for it. And people don't know. They just don't know. So here we go. After how many ever steeps that was, you can see it's golden color. There's still a touch of flavor left, but you know, this is more of an upfront tea, obviously. Cheap in Taiwan as a chef. I want to get some of that. I don't know whether they ship, but I'll tell you, 750 Taiwanese dollars for a kilogram of decent Gouda. a huge, like 100 US for like a big, huge, like 4.5 kilogram thing of Gouda, like that, right? 4.5 kilograms, like 100 US. I mean, it's just like I'm used to like 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 $1 a gram buy a decent cheese in the basement of Taipei 101 because that's the only place in Taiwan you can find the good cheese. Like I remember we took our family. I think I told this story, but anyways, we took our family and I'm like, guys, come on. I'm with my kids. I'm like, guys, check out this cheese. We're buying like 100 grams of the cheese each, and the lady behind the thing. She must have been in her 60s, but we were buying this cheese and it was such good cheese that she would do this. She's wearing a mask, right? And she'd chop it off and then a piece would fall off. And then she'd go like this. She'd be like, and she'd be eating the cheese as she was cutting it up because nobody ever bought this cheese because it was so expensive and so rare and so good. Anyways, we found a place where like I bought like some of the cheddar. It was the best cheddar I've ever had in my life. And I had it here. And it wasn't that expensive. I mean, it was expensive, but it wasn't that expensive. I was just like, oh my, this is amazing. So I'm very, very happy. I don't know whether they ship, but if you want the name, get in touch. I don't know the name offhand, but they're in Kaohsiung. So they're in southern Taiwan, and they ship it to Hualien. And we've become very, very good customers. In fact, I want to eat more cheese because I'm looking forward to my next order. It's our family is very strange. Be like, oh, it's time to buy cheese. Everybody goes around the computer and like we go through the cheese and everybody gets to pick one out. But it's really, really, I'm so happy it's here. So happy it's here. Like $20 US for a kilogram of decent cheese. Amazing. But tea. Those 5 teas: Magnolia Orchid, Rose Red Oolong, this tea, Normal Honey Fragrance Black, and what was the last one? Oh, Bird Planted Red. So those are going to be the 5 teas that we released on this. We released this Sunday. Springtime teas, I'm hoping, are coming soon. So I'm going to be getting. I got to go to when they start making tea in Sanxia. I think they've already started, but I'm going to go down sort of at the end of the month and get a bunch of really fresh stuff. I know there's a lot of people waiting for that. And yeah, I think that's about it. Last call for questions. I am going to enjoy the rest of this, and I'm going to go cut me off a big slice of cheese. In fact, I think I'm going to open up the last kilogram of the cheese that we got. We got Edam, we got Damaner. I apologize if you're in Europe. I'm just, anyways, but they're like, Gouda adjacent. And then we got the Gouda, and I'm going to go downstairs right now and open up the Gouda and just eat it like an apple. That guy, the seller from the US, he hooked you up with the 70s Oolong. Yeah, of course. That's the CYH, I think is what they call it. CYH. Yeah, I buy from the I still buy all their tea from the she just recently had her second child, and like recently, like in the last week or two, and I got a sample of a 1982 Oolong from them. That's really nice. Dong Ding, really, really nice. So I'm going to buy some of that as well. But I think he does it just as a hobby, doesn't he? He must make a little bit of money, but I think he just does it as a hobby. Seems like a nice guy. Yeah. Anyways, I'm excited. I'm gonna go eat some cheese. Anyways, any questions about any of this stuff, let me know. Wherever in the world you happen to be, I certainly hope you have an amazing morning, evening, night, and all of that. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next live stream.